putting the spotlight on local businesses in the capital city. This is 402 Business Insider with Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish on 1499.3 KLIN.
And good morning, Lincoln. Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing, Gary Tharnish with Home Design Real Estate Group, and you are listening to the 402 Business Insider. And this first segment here is brought to us by Sartor Heyman Jewelers and Red Rhino Roofing. Red Rhinos, man, they're doing a lot of my houses from that storm. We still have a long ways to go, but they're great guys. Just love the work that you're doing. So I was going through and I came across this article on Forbes, on Forbes.com. And it was 19 ways that leaders can put employee health and well-being first in 2025. And I'm going, wait a minute. Employers putting their employees' health and well-being first kind of hit me weird. It's like, I get it. You have to take care of your employees because your employees they're huge. They're extremely valuable. But what role am I required to play into your health and well-being?
Well, you babysit for free for your employees, right? That's
Sure,
one
yes.
benefit that they get, I think, or they're going to soon, right? Now that they've heard that.
Yeah, right. They're going to expect it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I can kind of see both sides of it. So recently, I have a friend who actually got a check from the insurance company that his large corporation that he works for, a company that has, 780 employees. And he actually got a check because they all collectively were so healthy that they got a refund from the insurance company. So that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Now, was the CEO responsible for their health? No, because I know this friend and he probably wasn't doing anything that really healthy for his lifestyle, but I mean, he got a check. So that's kind of interesting. But I know when I had my small business, I'm thinking, wow, that would have been very tough, actually.
Right.
I mean, if someone was, sick and they need to go home, of course you let them go home, but
absolutely,
how can you be responsible for that? I mean,
right.
That's a little difficult.
Yeah. I mean, like, with our company for the longest time, we paid for our company, our employees' healthcare 100%. And this was before the whole national healthcare thing came through, and then we couldn't afford it. And now we have a plan where we pay for kind of urgent care. We have a doctor, not on-call doctor, but one of those monthly services, right? Yeah,
those are great.
And so we pay for that for our employees. So yeah, I want them to be well. I want them to be healthy. I want them to be happy. I want them to be, I don't want them to be drug addicts or anything like that, right? But I'm also not their parent.
Well, I mean,
their employer.
You're responsible for a fair, safe, healthy work environment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
beyond
don't
that,
get it, but I'm responsible for it, right?
Well, I'm not working there. That's kind of funny.
Aren't you glad you're not working for me?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, well, as a business, you're governed by the government a lot.
Oh,
yeah. What you can and cannot do and provide and so on and so forth. But I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I can get it and I cannot get it. I can kind of see both sides of it. I mean, I think it's knowledge is power, helping give employees ideas of how they can do better. The same company, by the way, the insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield now offers through a sister company of theirs where they will send you a pad and you can do PT through it. And it sees your body, sees your skeleton. There's a PT person that reviews it afterwards. Let's change these exercises. So if you have upper back pain, to get a certain amount of exercises. That's kind of an interesting thing. And employers, I'm sure, are glad when you have a larger company that they're doing something like that because your employees aren't missing work or getting to an unhealthy point where they're not there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would always want to take care of my employees enough that they're there when I need them, you know, but if I see them doing something that's going to cause them a health problem, do I have a right to say, you're 65 and you're out of shape, you probably shouldn't go water skiing this weekend?
Right.
And then you're gone for 3 months because you broke something. I mean, I don't know. It's a catch-22.
It's really weird. It seems like when COVID hit, that there was just this massive directional change where, gosh, we didn't have the work, but you wanted to keep your employees paid and you wanted to keep your staff together. And then it just seems like we're kind of all over the road. Like we've overcorrected to a point where now we've gone from treating our employees like employees to treating them like fragile, glass,
Yeah.
like you could break them or shatter them or something. And we have to take on this. I don't want to say nanny state, but it's kind of what this article was implying. Like,
Yeah.
we really have to make sure and tune in and make sure 100%. Well, wait a minute. I also have a business to run here.
Yeah.
I have to make payroll, and I have to pay taxes, and I've got suppliers, and I've got, clients, and now I have to make sure that so-and-so can afford a whatever, a service animal, because they have a, it just seems so insane to me. I don't know.
I don't want to coddle everybody every day along the whole way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's things you can give to your employees that are suggestive that can help them have better health, so on and so forth. Are you responsible for it? No, you shouldn't be responsible for it because you're not with them 24/7. I mean, I can't. It was all I could do to keep track of my kids and make sure that I was providing them what they needed, much less employees. Right. But I mean, I remember in the 38 years I had my business, the difference in telephone calls when you're calling in sick in the 80s compared to 2020 would be like this. In the 80s, it'd be like, I am so sorry, but I've been coughing all night and I've been throwing up. I could still come and work if you need me. I know you really, really need me, but I'm really, really cold too. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to call. I just don't really feel like coming in today.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it today.
Like, okay, well, what's going on? I don't know. I mean, I'm like, well, I know you were out last night. I saw you at the zoo bar at 1. Yeah, but I didn't get home till like 1:30. I'm like, okay, well, I got home at 3 and I had to Uber back down the next day to find my car, and I got here at 7. So
yeah,
where are you? You need to come in. It's a big difference, right? So you have those issues you're dealing with, or at the same time, it's like, well, did he need a mental health day, or was he hungover? Or was he hungover and just didn't come to work?
And I look back, my first full-time job, believe it or not, I was 12 years old. I worked 40 hours a week for a sporting goods store. No joke. Because I had to, because that was the world that I grew up in. We were extremely poor. We needed the money. You went to work, you went to school, and then at 3:30, you got off, you went downtown on the bus, and you went to work until 9:30 at night, and then you worked weekends. That was the world I grew up in. And I remember, we had inventory days where if you were an employee, you showed up. You don't call in sick. That's the world I grew up in. You never call in sick.
Yeah.
The world doesn't stop because you don't feel good. And I remember passing out. I was so sick doing inventory. We were back in the shoe department, and I had just leaned back waiting for somebody had to go get something, and I passed out, fell asleep, and the manager came back and goes, okay, go home. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of looking out for your well-being. And he was probably looking out for himself because he didn't want to get sick. Right. I tell people, if you're sick, stay home. I don't want it. But if you feel good, if you're out drinking at the zoo bar till 1 o'clock, get to work. Yeah. It just seemed very, very odd to me. So, I mean, we need to have some personal responsibility. I'm not here to replace that personal responsibility. Take responsibility. I'm not here for your well-being. I don't know. Am I harsh?
Well, yeah, that's a.
I am harsh.
That's what I like about you. One of the things I like about you. But the other thing is just the word responsible, period. How can you possibly be responsible for your employees' health, right? I don't know what they're going to eat. I can't tell them what to eat, whether they're going to exercise, go for walks, drink enough water. Can I provide healthy water at work? Yeah, I always did that. We had a nice water system, so on and so forth. So it's gone a little overboard. I think there's maybe people that, need an excuse to have a job that write articles like this, or maybe
maybe,
I don't know, who knows, but it's a lot.
And like you said, it is our responsibility as employers to make sure that we have a good environment for people. That
Correct.
It's not toxic, that it's not, that we're providing a good work environment, but it is a work environment. And when you go home, you need to take care of yourself. That's not on me.
Listen, I was the owner of the business was most often sent to HR. I have to go out in the hallway and talk to myself, come back in, so I don't know. It's catch-22.
You should see the file that Gary had to write on himself.
Exactly.
Volumes. Well, let's run to a break here, and then we're going to talk. We have Alex Carney in here today. He owns 7 Brew and Freddy's, and we're going to talk about that.
Thank you for sticking around with us through that break. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. If you're just joining, I'm Gary Tharnish with Home Design Real Estate Group. My co-host, as always, is Travis with Transformation and Marketing. And we have the honor today of having our guest is Alex Carney with Freddy's and 7 Brew. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to ask you a bunch of questions. I've been trying not to do it
Lots
during
of
the break.
questions.
Let's let it rip.
Exactly. This segment today is brought to you by the Cabin Virtual Indoor Golf, Western National Bank, and Mendoza Family Insurance. Travis, what's Cabin Virtual Indoor Golf?
Baby. I think, did you come down and golf?
I've been there.
Okay. I thought you did. I couldn't remember. But yeah, it's indoor golf, especially right now, going into fall, going into the winter. You need a place to actually do good simulated golf. That's what we have. Our simulators are different than any simulator you've ever played, because I tell people, have you ever played a simulator? And they go, yeah. I go, it sucked, right? Yeah. Come down, play my simulator, and we'll let Alex.
Yeah, the technology, the real feel aspect. I mean, the putting green that you have with the projector onto the green is one of the most insane things I've ever used. As a once upon a time competitive golfer, I would, if I had no family, I could eat, sleep, live in that facility.
It's different.
That's
it
great.
really is different. It's worth checking out. So give me a call. Give me a call. We'll play 18 holes. If you want to join, great. If you don't, that's cool. We got to play golf. So there you go.
So getting started here, Alex, I asked you off the air if you've lived in Lincoln your whole life. You said you moved up here about 10 years ago from Wichita. Did I get that
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep.
Okay. And so how'd you first get started in business?
So interesting situation. I went to Kansas State. My folks have a marketing firm, was based out of Wichita. They're in Kansas City now. My whole life, I was going to go into marketing. I was going to write copy. I was going to, just follow in their footsteps.
Sure.
And when I was about a junior at Kansas State, Manhattan really started to expand as far as restaurants, bars, different concepts. And I thought the development side was really cool. And being from Wichita, Wichita is a franchise capital of the United States. You've got Pizza Hut, Whataburger, Freddy's. A lot of those early Pizza Hut guys did very well, and they expanded into Taco Bell's, KFC's, Freddy's. Now a bunch of 7 Brew guys there. And there's more concepts than that, but a lot of restaurant folks in that town. And one of our family friends from church, I'd seen him, I'd run into him at Freddy's in Manhattan several times. And, I might've been up late the night before and gone for a double cheese, and we would talk, we'd talk for an hour, and I just started poking him, and all of a sudden the wheels started turning. How cool would it be to get into development and food and beverage? So right before I graduated, I wasn't good enough at golf to keep that going. I sat down with a Jimmy John's franchisee and Ron, who was the first ever Freddy's franchisee, and just picked their brain. And I ended both conversations. I think I bought them breakfast, and I ended both conversations with, hey, if there's an opportunity for me, or if I'm interested, would there be an opportunity for me here? And Ron Oberg out of Wichita, like I said, first ever franchisee of Freddy's and good family friend, said, actually, I'm looking at starting a new group for Nebraska. And, if it's something you're interested in, let's talk more. And so now 11 years later, here we are.
Yeah. I love that.
So is he your partner now, or?
Yeah. So he gave me the opportunity to buy in when I was really young, helped me figure out the financing, helped me figure out kind of everything. He's played a great mentor role for me this whole time, kind of taught me everything I know. And now his son works for me, or works with me, and him with the 7 Brew side. And so it's kind of this mentor-mentee relationship. And he allowed me the opportunity to get some equity in the game early, and I had to go earn it too. So,
yeah.
So do you have the whole state of Nebraska or just Lincoln?
So the interesting thing is there's a group based out of Manhattan, actually, that has Omaha and Grand Island.
Okay.
And I don't know what the truth is to this, but they were looking for a site in Lincoln around South Point, couldn't find a spot that they liked. And they have other states as well. And they said, hey, we're done with Nebraska. We're going to go look in North Carolina and Texas. And so an acquaintance told us to come look at Nebraska, and we found sites pretty quickly in Lincoln. So we have Lincoln, Hastings, Carney, Columbus, Norfolk, North Platte. We kind of jump around everything except for Grand Island and Omaha, but we just picked up Freddy's corporate decided that Omaha's big enough now for more locations. So we're getting ready to build in Elkhorn.
Oh, nice.
We're doing a conversion in Fremont right now. And we'll probably do a couple in Omaha on the outskirts to kind of infill what they've already done.
Yeah. Nice. So how many Freddy's do you have in Lincoln?
We have 4 in Lincoln.
Okay. How many do you have total in Nebraska?
Nebraska, we have 9.
Okay. You always have something to do.
Yeah. And we have 14 total. So
Jeez.
we've got 3 in South Dakota, 1 in Iowa as well.
So then 7 Brew.
Yeah.
That came about how? Through this same group?
Again, small world situation. A gal I went to high school with and was neighbors with, didn't even know her, was good family friends with my business partner, Ron. And she was early. They had a connection with 7 Brew and they were kind of helping on the corporate side. Right when the guy that started 7 Brew wasn't really doing anything with it. He had maybe 6 to 10 locations. It was fun, but he wasn't trying to grow it. And another gentleman came in, said, "Hey, what are you doing with this brand?" And the guy said, "Nothing." He said, "Let me franchise it." And so he bought it from him. And this gal from Wichita was friends with this gentleman.
Got it.
And so once they kind of got the ball rolling, they called us and they said, "Hey, you need to fly down to Arkansas and come meet with the support team there, do what's called a discovery day." And so we did a discovery day. We fell in love with it. And it just so happens that Chase, Ron's son, was going to the University of Arkansas. So we told him to go get a job as a barista.
Oh, yeah.
And see how he liked it. And in the beginning, he wasn't, the plan wasn't to have him run the company. He was still trying to figure out what he was going to do after college. And it was just like, this might be perfect.
Yeah.
And so he moved up here. We've been going at it for almost 3 years now. We have 10 locations open.
Wow.
Man,
in 3 years' time.
Well, I love how you pour a foundation and then the building's just brought in and set down and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It seems like, I mean,
they like to say plug and play. It's not,
right.
It's not always that simple, but conceptually and timing wise, I mean, we can do it in 3 months compared to, Freddy's might take 6 to 9 months.
Now, as far as other franchises go, because I just learned this right before the show, because I don't live in Lincoln, I live out. So it's like you're just driving along one day, there's a building there, and you make the assumption that it's stick built. Is 7 Brew like the only franchise that does that? Because McDonald's is all stick built, and all these other places.
So prefab buildings, number one, extremely convenient and airtight on quality control because they don't leave the factory until they're
100% right,
and they're stamped and they're good to go. There are some concepts that are prefabricating walls and wall panels and putting them together quicker. But as far as complete project completion, I don't know that I've heard of another concept that's doing it the same way as us.
Now, does 7 Brew manufacture it, or do you have to go like we're in Alabama, we're in Nebraska? Do you have to go find your own manufacturer, or
they have a list? I think that it's growing. It's probably closer to 10 now, but preferred builders. And so, we actually met with a construction company in Wichita 3 years ago and said, you need to get on this train because it's a rocket ship.
Mm.
And they didn't really see the big picture. And I think they're
wishing they had
themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So it's incredible. We've used 2 different builders and to go to these facilities and see that they've got the tracks in the ceiling and they just, it's as factory gets. They've got a welder that does his job and then they lift it up and move it to the next guy and he puts the exterior finish on and then, it's an assembly line.
Wow.
And 21 days to finish a building.
Wow. Start to finish, 21 days.
Yeah.
And is that all? I know I'm getting off topic here, but I'm fascinated. Is that all they do is make these 7 Brews?
Yeah.
Companies?
And then what they do is they ship it up to us, comes in really 3 pieces plus the canopies and they'll button it up in a couple days. So,
geez, that is incredible. That's
I remember
great
when I
efficiency.
plopped down on 56 and 0, and then I was like, okay, now they put a building down here. So, okay. And then it was not shortly after that it was open.
Well, and the fun part about that is none of us knew what we were doing. And so I was on that job site every single day with the GC trying to keep our ducks in a row of,
Yeah.
why isn't this done? This needs to happen next. And, we've come a long way from that point, and we've got a great foundation going.
Yeah.
And how are they? Again, I'm getting off topic, but how are they holding up? Like, are there from the first one built?
Yeah.
Because you think back, just stigma wise, the manufactured homes, right? Manufactured homes of way back when, they're not holding up very well. But this is obviously a different standard.
Yeah, they're all steel frame and they all are code compliant. And so they're not leaving that factory until they're stamped by a third party inspector. And so, obviously that steel frame, I mean, it could probably take a tornado, and they, so far, so good.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is.
I'm just so fascinated by it. Like, my mind is erased of manufacturing, because owning real estate, I go, I don't know, do I want to own manufacture? But man, this sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's an intelligent business model for sure. I think, just from the outside looking in.
Well, time is money. And so to be able to get a building, like we just ordered a building today, basically, for our next Lincoln location, not next to those listening, the second coming Lincoln location. And that building will be done in a month, and it'll be, very shortly after that we're open for business.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It was crazy. I was like,
Do you have your location set? Are we sharing that yet?
Oh, I'll share that we have a location coming to North 27th Street by the end of the year.
Okay.
Nice.
You heard it here first, right?
That's right.
Well, we got a break coming up here. So Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, we're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's, and we will be back right after this.
KLIN.
And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's. And this segment is sponsored by Complete Family Dermatology and the UPS stores. Small businesses, you have needs as far as business cards and printing and signage. And you don't typically think the UPS store, that's exactly what they do. They do so much to support small business. Go check them out, upsstores.com. There's 5 locations in Lincoln, but they're everywhere. So go check them out. We appreciate their sponsorship, and we appreciate the work that they actually do for us. This segment, we always do 5 takeaways. These are basically 5 things that business owners can learn from our entrepreneurs and apply to their company on Monday morning. And that is sponsored by the Nebraska Farmers Network. So, Alex, let's start talking about people, because you are in an industry it's kind of hard. It's a lot of turnover, finding people, building a culture. Tell us a little bit about that. How do you find employees?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say it's funny in business. There seems to be no shortage of capital, but human capital is where the shortage is. And we've been very fortunate that we've found some great people. I'll speak to 2 points here. One of my tricks, we've got the pleasure of working with young individuals, high schoolers, college students, and I like to just observe and kind of see who takes leadership seriously, who's going out of their way. One of my favorite stories is we've got a young gentleman working for us here in Lincoln that was an Eagle Scout, and I knew that meant that he had some experience with leadership and out of the box thinking and
Hard
work, following tasks. And from when we hired him at 16, worked his way up to a manager. He's been with us for 8 years now. And so I think having an eye for who stands out has been huge. And second, our founder of Freddy's, Scott Redler, always said, never hire someone you don't want to have a beer with. And
that's interesting. That's a good
one for
idea.
the book.
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
one for the book.
yeah, I'm the guy that when I go into an interview, I don't need a resume. I honestly don't even want one. I just want to meet you person to person, figure out what you like, what you don't like, what your experiences are. And I don't necessarily care if you've been in the food industry or not. I wasn't before this. And it's really just about who you are as a person. Do I see myself working with you?
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't always get it right, but
None of us do.
See, I told you he was human. So you hire more for the culture. Who
Yeah,
are you?
you
How do
have
you
to.
fit that? And you can train everything else,
100%.
right?
Yeah. I can teach, like we always say in marketing, same with Freddy's. I can teach someone how to flip burgers. I can't teach showing up to work on time.
100%.
That there's just no way to do that. So one thing that always interested me, so a buddy of mine, Troy, he started out working at I think he started working at a Pizza Hut, went to a Papa John's, kind of moved around, but was a hard worker. And he went from basically being a pizza maker to owning every Papa John's in the state of Nebraska, among others. And it's like, yeah, if you get in there and you work hard, there are opportunities. I'm sure there are cities all over the place where if you have the right employee, I would love to open up a 7 Brew in Coeur d'Alene or what, wherever the opportunity is, and move there. So yeah, hard work, finding the right people.
Yeah, we've been very blessed. Shout out Troy, big fan.
I think, did we go golfing?
We definitely
was Troy
went
with us?
golfing with
Okay.
Troy,
I
yeah.
know you and I have golfed. Troy
Yeah.
and I have golfed.
Yeah,
a
we touch
1,000
base.
times,
We
so.
touch base from time to time. So always good to hear from him. But yeah, I would say that most of our most successful people started off as cooks and cashiers when they were 16. And, it's just stays true that when they get the culture from day one and they realize, our thing is always hospitality, quality, and cleanliness. And I'm sure we'll touch on that later. But when you can ingrain that into a teenager, then when they're 25, it's not reinventing the wheel. And then you bring in some guy that was the bee's knees at Burger King. No offense. And it might be a little tough to get their principles towards ours. So,
Yeah.
in any restaurant for that.
And something too is when you're the one down there in the trenches, you're leading by example. And that's huge. I mean, making sure that your employees see you picking up the slack wherever the slack is. That's a massive thing. As a business owner, when there is a need, fill it. Don't just look for somebody to do it in the moment. I mean, you may have to long term, but fill that. Lead by example. And I love that about your start. You got started in the industry, you worked in the industry, you worked your way up to get where you're at. That's huge.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do, and granted, I try to leave my laptop at the office, leave my phone in the truck, just when I'm in the restaurant, be present in the restaurant. And you'll hear me say, "Hey, I'm going to go wipe tables. Would you mind sweeping?" Or, "Hey, I'm going to sweep. Would you mind wiping tables?" Or, "Hey, I'm going to go take the trash out. Would you mind taking that guest order?" And so making it clear that I'm not asking you to do something just because I want to, but because I'm going to be busy doing something else to help the restaurant succeed. And I found that works really well. And a lot of times, if I go start cleaning something, the next thing you know, the whole team is out cleaning something.
Yeah.
Without me saying anything.
Right.
When
lead by example.
When I used to work at a different radio station, this was back in the late 90s, and I first started selling, I went out and was calling on Carpetland, right? It was Jeff Lem's owns Carpetland, and didn't know him from anybody at the time. And I go, okay, who's the owner? Oh, it's Jeff Lamb's. And okay, go through that door. He's in the warehouse. And I walk in the warehouse. The only person in the warehouse was this guy that was just sweeping the floor. And I turn around and I come back in and I go, yeah, he's not in there. And they go, really? He was just in there a minute ago. And they kind of escort me back in. That's him right there. He's sweeping the floor. And it as a young person going, the owner of the business is sweeping the floor. Yeah, somebody has to do it.
That's awesome.
And it was one of those experiences. And now, of course, now we do all their marketing, and I've known him for 25, 30 years now and have become good friends. But that was a lesson that I learned young, that there's no work beneath any of us, especially business owners. I'm not going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself, because toilets need cleaned. And sometimes it's me. A lot of times it's me.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
And I've never been the best at that, but I've got a great team, and we've got some district managers that the kid gets sick or whatever happens, and they're on it so fast. And I still cringe a little bit sometimes, but try to hold back and dive right in. I mean, it's we see some things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I could imagine. I could imagine. So let's talk a little bit about scaling, because You know, when you started out, you moved to Lincoln, you opened up a store, and now, I mean, just the Freddy side of it, you're growing Freddy's, and then you go, hey, let's open up a 7 Brew, and now we're scaling that. How do you manage that? Because that seems like a full plate, and then you go grab another plate, and let's start loading it up.
So that's a great question. And honestly, my mentor, business partner, Ron, he's always said, I'll never be the fastest. I'll never be the sexiest. But I'll compare my books to anybody. And what we've always done when we first franchised Freddy's up here, we only signed up for 5 locations, and we got the first one open. It was going really well. And we said, okay, we can bite off more than this. So we signed up for 5 more, and now we're signed up for 27 all the way out to Indianapolis. And
wow.
so we just, as we build our team, as we know that we have the right people in place to keep growing, we start taking calculated risks. And on the 7 Brew side, same thing. We signed up for 30 of them, and we were one of the smallest franchisees. And that was in, it was a 4-year development agreement. So that's a tough task, but we've got the pieces in place now. We just signed up for 12 more. So we kind of know that if we, and we've always said this, if we do things the right way, we set ourselves up for success, we can always say yes to the next opportunity. And again, we don't need to be the fastest. We don't need to be the new shiny object. We just want to be steady Eddie and do it right. And, you know, as we're comfortable with the team we have and, you know, our operations being successful, then we go take more risks.
You meant you want to be the steady Freddy, right?
That's right.
Okay, you said steady Eddie. I mean, but it's okay. It's okay.
That's a new one. I like that.
You can be the steady Freddy. So just real quick before we go into these last 2 Travis points. So 7 Brew, when did they first start and where?
So I think it was 2018 in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
So not that long ago.
No, not that long ago. And then
wow,
the sale happened around COVID time, 2020.
Okay.
And really intriguing. A gentleman from Arkansas, when he was in high school, they lived on a farm right off the highway. His dad had a old broken down billboard, and he said, Dad, I'm going to rent out that billboard and I'll give you some of the profits. His dad said, good luck, dude. And when he was 28, I think he sold the company for around $1 billion.
Wow.
He grew it and grew it, worked it through high school, worked it through college. He's a CPA. His best friend, who's the CEO of 7 Brew, is an attorney, and they did that together. And then when they started selling their billboards, they started buying commercial real estate, and they bought the strip center that the first ever 7 Brew was in. And so that's how they got to know that owner.
So cool.
And they said, yeah, hey, what are you doing with this concept? And he was ready to let someone else take the reins.
So that's who owns 7 Brew now, the franchisor.
Yeah. And there's been some shakeup. Blackstone, the big private equity firm out of New York City, owns a big chunk of it now.
Okay. So, is there a book or something? That's a fascinating story.
Honestly, I'm not going to drop his name, but even if you Googled him, you wouldn't find any information. But really? I've done real estate tours with him here, and he probably gets really annoyed with me because I ask him a million questions.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting here going, how do I get this guy on the show?
Yeah, he's a beast.
Wow, that's incredible. I always love those entrepreneurial spirit, those stories of, hey, Dad, there's this broken down billboard, and let's turn it into $1 billion company.
Yeah,
I mean, that's vision.
Yeah, he told me we were in Casey's getting gas in North 27th when we were doing a real estate tour. And I don't remember what I asked or what I said. And I was, 30 years old at the time. And he goes, hey, when I was your age, I had a couple $100 million in debt. Don't be afraid to take risks. Just like, did you say a couple hundred million? But it was, I've been very fortunate to be exposed to some really high caliber entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That's cool. Really. That's a gift.
You're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So
yeah,
good choice.
So let's talk about like brand standards. As you keep growing, you keep getting more locations. How do you keep that consistency level?
100%. We just added on to our training team on the Freddy side. We keep adding on the 7 Brew side. It is one of the hardest things, and we are not perfect. We make mistakes. I'm sure someone that's listening is like, hey, you messed up my double cheeseburger, and that happens. And as we're training new people, and it's just constant. The cool thing is there's some new technology changes. We went from words explaining the orders to pictures, and so it makes it easier to train. We have a great training platform with videos and tests and knowledge based information. But again, pumping up our training department to make sure that they're in the stores. We have training managers in each location, certified trainers. You know, if we hire someone from the outside, making sure they follow the training schedule. But it's a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
It's a lot of see something, say something. You're never going to see me walk into a restaurant and not say, hey, that's supposed to have 3 onions, not 4, or 2 pickles, not 3.
Yeah.
So it's constant.
And you see that in some, there's been several closures of different franchises just in Lincoln alone. And you see that consistency dropping off. And that, I just look at that industry and I go, wow, that's got to be a lot to manage to stay on top of, because as soon as it slips away, you could be in trouble quick.
Yeah, it's hard. And I would say, not to go down this rabbit hole, but since COVID, a lot of the people that would work for us in this industry are now driving for DoorDash or Uber Eats because there's no work schedule. There's no uniform. There's no boss. It's work to make $25 and then you're done for the day. And those were a lot of the employees that we had. And we lost a whole generation of employees at that time. And now, granted, we've recovered well. We don't have a hiring problem at all. But it took a couple of years to rebound from that.
You know, in 2018, I lost a real good employee, and I had a flower shop for 38 years. So I had trained him, and he was just incredibly talented artistically, which is not something you really can teach that part. You can't. And he was a really good employee. And then he says, he goes, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And I said, well, where are you going? What are you doing? He goes, well, I'm going to work for myself. I said, well, that's awesome. What are you going to do? And he goes, start an Amazon business. I'm like, oh, what are you going to sell? And he goes, well, he says, I've been doing it for a few months. I haven't really just said anything. He goes, but I go into TJ Maxx and I've got everything set up with Amazon, and I just scan the little code on the product and see what the average is selling on Amazon. And so I'll buy the shirt or the pair of pants or the purse or whatever it is for $12 at TJ Maxx. I turn around and ship it and sell it for $65 because that's what it's selling for on Amazon. And I'm like, you what? Yeah, I fill up my cart every day. And I'm like, wow, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
I mean, so stuff like that. But DoorDash, we have my daughter, a real good friend of my daughter's, she said he's still doing DoorDash because he makes a ton of money on DoorDash. And he does Uber during football games and makes $600 for the day. And just,
there's new revenue streams for new folks.
Crazy places.
And it's expanding fast because now I'm in Panama. I mean, I'm 15 minutes outside of town, and they're starting to deliver out there. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost me? How warm is my food going to be when I get here? I don't know. I'm a natural pessimist. I've never done it before because I'm just sitting here going, logistically, this can't make sense.
Well,
but
I think for the DoorDash guys, the restaurant pays some too, right? To them,
we pay a very large fee, which is why you see prices higher. But also, speaking to your point, it's really scary when you send food out the door and you don't know where it's going and how long it's going to be sitting in someone's car.
Do DoorDash people have to have a food handler's permit? I always wondered that.
I don't think so.
That is a concern.
I guess that's a great. Why don't you circle back on that? I would love to know the answer to that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we have a break coming up. So this has been 5 Takeaways, sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. Nebraska Farmers Network. They are protecting the future of ag in Nebraska by keeping Nebraska family farms Nebraska owned. Check them out. They're doing such cool work over there. Nebraska Farmers Network. Definitely should join them. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's, and we will be back right after this.
Thanks for hanging with us through that break. And if you are just tuning in, you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. My name is Gary Tharnish with Home Design Real Estate Group, and my co-host is Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing. And our guest today is Alex with 7 Brew and Freddy's, both of which I love a lot. And it's been a pleasure talking to you so far. So don't mess it up from here on out. Okay?
You're halfway there. No pressure.
Kick me out now, boys.
Our sponsors on this segment are James Arthur Vineyards. I still absolutely love when they pair junk food with wine.
Oh yeah,
potato chips.
Well,
and
then
wine.
they did like
that always pairs.
They did the Uber sweet, I can't think of the company. but they did like pairing cakes with wines and
Yeah.
eclairs and all that stuff. I just love those guys.
And also Lincoln Coin and Bullion. They're a great bunch of guys over there. Call for an appointment if you go in there, and it'll be a lot better
yeah.
for them and works out really, really
Go get
well.
your silver and gold.
Yeah. And so this segment is called Unexpected Impact. And it's just, we all have that in business, right? Something that was just completely unexpected that blindsided you. A lot of times you hear about COVID. Of course, that blindsided all of us. But is there anything else that you can think of in your business that really just was an unexpected impact and you really had to pivot and change since you've been up here for 10 years?
Yeah, I can give a couple examples to that, and I'll avoid COVID because it's always the easy one.
It's a 3-inch putt.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a given. Something more recently, cattle prices are through the roof.
Yes.
And I know that I know that our food is not the most cost friendly to take a family of 5 to dinner because I have 3 children.
Yeah.
And by the time you get custard and all the things, you're out of there and you want to get good value for your food. And so, we're taking a good hit right now with cattle prices, and it sounds like it's not going to get any better. Our patties are 2.66 ounces. Sorry, misspeak. And it used to be like maybe 40 cents for one of those pucks. And now we're up to almost $1.
Oh,
and
geez.
I mean, it fluctuates just like any other commodity.
Still, yeah.
But that's a prime example of right now. And the knee jerk reaction would be, okay, instead of we're $10.79 for a number 1 combo of double cheese. Okay, now we're $11.29. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to force our costs down your throat. We want to show you that we're going to provide good value, be consistent, and wait it out to see what happens. But yeah, that's a good one.
Coffee beans, haven't they gone?
Coffee beans are going up, and Sem Brew's done a nice job of hedging that, and they buy in bulk ahead of time. They've done the same thing with their espresso machines. I'll never forget on our Discovery Day down in Arkansas, they took us into a factory that had $3 million worth of espresso machines in storage.
Wow.
And so we buy all of our equipment from them.
Sure.
And they're having it imported from Italy direct. And so that was their thing is, hey, if we're going to grow fast, we don't want a supply chain shortage to be the reason we can't.
Right.
So,
or huge increases in costs.
Yeah.
With
so
that.
we've got everything you need. Go rock it out. Now, we could get into the minimum wage deal where Iowa is $7.25, Kansas is $7.25, and Lincoln, Nebraska, or Nebraska in general is going to be $15 in January.
Jeez.
I mean,
yeah,
those are 2 neighboring states. So, and it used to be where no one paid minimum wage anyway, and now we have to. And I don't think we actually do, but we're closer to paying minimum wage now than we were 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it used to be minimum wage was $10, $11, and everyone made 13, 14, 15. Now it's creeping up to minimum wage is $15. Everyone's going to make $15.
Right.
I mean, and there will be some fluctuations there, and we do what the industry requires to get high caliber individuals. But, I don't know that doing what large metros do where it's CPI related or, on a $1.50 increase. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's strong.
Sure.
7-8% every year.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you keep up with that?
Yeah. Your margins shrink.
Yeah. Well, and again, we don't want to pass that price off to you of, okay, we got to pay our employees $1.50 more. You're going to pay $1.50 more for a cheeseburger.
But at the same time, that's kind of the environment that we live in. I mean, I tell people all the time when they complain about going through the drive-through and it costs $50 to feed a family of 4. How did you vote on the minimum wage thing?
Yeah.
Because at TM, we have employees. We pay them more than minimum wage. But guess what? They're a heck of a lot closer to minimum wage now than they ever were in any time in the past. And it's just causing hyperinflation. That's a big impact on businesses. I'm guessing salaries are probably your number 1 expense.
Yeah. Food and labor are kind of right there in the same, we call it the big 2. They're right in the same range. It's a big chunk of our business.
Yeah.
And, when you think about 60 to 65%, or, if a guest gives you $1, you've got 35 cents left.
Yeah. That's not going to
either
that's
not going to
food cost or labor.
wages. Yeah. 100%. So it's it's a challenge, and again, we're not alone in this. So this
Right.
isn't a
Yeah,
sob.
it's not a
sob
Utah.
story,
Right. Everyone's
Yeah.
dealing with it.
Yeah.
But
It's like Nebraska lost. Whoa, it was really rainy and cold. Yeah, it was for the other team too.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah, so-
exactly.
You know,
No, it's a navigation piece, and again, we want to provide value in both drinks and food, and we understand that it's not cheap to live right now, and so we have to make conscious decisions moving forward.
Mhm.
And then I would say, lastly, municipalities have gotten very difficult with new codes, whether it's landscaping requirements, stacking requirements.
I would like to say
Um,
amen with
yeah.
all capital letters
Yes.
since I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, are you changing all these codes and adding them just to, give somebody a job? I mean, at
Right.
some
It's
point,
almost like they're trying
this
to.
does not benefit the consumer. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, it feels like they're making up for their grandfather's wrongdoings, and we're
said,
doing
Alex.
60
Yeah.
years of code changes in a short time span, because now we know the impacts of our mistakes from the past.
Yeah.
And it used to be where I could sign a lease today and have a business open in, let's call it 180 days. And now I'm having to do most of my due diligence, my civil engineering, all of that stuff before I even sign on the dotted line to make sure I can, whether it's underground water retention, whether it's 275, Omaha requires 275 feet of stacking for drive-through lanes.
Jeez.
And that's per lane, not 2 lanes combined. So there's a lot of little things, and 15 feet of landscape on each side, and
Right.
845 shrubs and trees, and
It's
And now in
crazy.
Lincoln, you got to bring in dirt. I mean, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
never ends. And
I-
residential's
And see, like me
nightmare.
personally, living out of town and having real estate out of town, I love it. I
Well, aren't-
absolutely love
Aren't
it.
you like the mayor of where you live?
I am. I'm
Gotta
the mayor
love
of
that.
Panama. But like, I've got a building right now that's just getting ready to go up for rent, and it's warehouse space, and it's in Panama.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to rent this space in Lincoln, you'd be paying $7 to $8 a square foot. I'm 50 cents a square foot.
Yeah.
It's a short drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you look at it and you go, oh, all these rules are helping me, because businesses are going, Panama's a 15-minute drive to cut my rent by, what's that, 80%?
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. Come on.
Sure.
well, we've developed a ton of smaller markets first because we knew that the barrier of entry
Right.
wasn't bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And now we're stuck holding the bag saying, okay, here we come Omaha, here we come Lincoln,
Right.
here we come Sioux Falls. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, we're learning, and this is why we have a good team, because it takes an army right now.
Sure.
And we've got great partners out there that are helping us. Rig Engineering, Hampton Construction, just great.
So are like going back to the whole pre-built 7 Brew, are there like size concepts as well? It's just one size fits
One
all.
size, 510 square foot
Yeah, I was gonna
building,
say they all look the same to me.
210 square foot cooler, which we did just learn our new builder today that we can do a little bit bigger cooler with some more storage on it, which is nice. But for the most part, it's all about the site work. So the building is what it is, and then it's going to be 2 drive-through lanes. If we can fit a pass-through lane so you don't get stuck, we'll throw that in there.
What are the hours at 7 Brew?
5:30 to 10, and on Friday and Saturday we're up until 11.
Okay, so I mentioned this off the air, but I just can't get over it. I'll come out of downtown after seeing a show or something, and it's just a line of traffic to get there, in my mind, coffee at 8:30 at night. And I'm telling a friend of mine that, and she goes, "Oh, you got to try their key lime pie." And I'm like, "Pie? They sell pie?" She goes, No, it's a drink. I don't know how you start, but they add something, but it tastes just like key lime pie, which I happen to love key lime pie. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, business isn't crazy at night, but there are some nights, and we do a lot of our promotions at night too, which it still blows my mind. But I asked, I did 4 days of training in Fayetteville,
Okay.
and I told them I wasn't going to be making coffee, but I'll learn.
Yeah.
And they said a lot of nurses will come in before their shifts at night.
Oh, it makes sense.
A lot of night workers. I mean, I don't know if Kawasaki's still running overnights. I know what's the old Goodyear, or
Oh, yeah.
there's
just
several.
When
drew
you
a
got
blank.
Lincoln Industries, I
Right.
think
Yeah,
they
yeah.
got night shifts.
Yeah,
still,
you've got
and
several night
lot of
shifts,
them.
and people are getting caffeinated. And trust me, I employ a lot of kids. Those kids drink some caffeine.
Oh yeah, I believe. David,
Yeah.
do you drink caffeine?
You a caffeine guy? You a 7 Brew guy? You just started working at 7 Brew, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
He called in sick today, so I hope that's not
He did
busted.
not.
Well, we have a
love it.
break coming up here, so let's run to that real quick. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's.
Thanks for hanging with us over the break. And if you're just now tuning in, you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. My name's Gary Tharnish with Home Design Real Estate Group, and my co-host, as always, is Travis with Transformation Marketing. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Alex Carney with Freddy's and 7 Brews. This segment is called This Needs an Adjustment. It's sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Services. I always think that's where I have to go to.
You do need to go there.
I do need to go there, yes, and get some speech therapy as well. And then the Lincoln Airport, LNK, fly out at Lincoln if you can, man. If it's just maybe $100 more, fly out of Lincoln. The airport is just so important for the economic development of Lincoln.
And if you've been out of Omaha recently, oh man,
Be nice.
oh man, yeah.
Got to rail him in.
I know you have to reel me in. That's a frustrating place. So it's worth the money to fly out of Lincoln.
I get it. This segment's called This Needs an Adjustment, and it is sponsored by our friends over at Ascend Chiropractic. And with that in mind, Alex, does anything come to mind where you needed to make an adjustment? You really needed to pivot on something, whether it was hiring, choosing your locations, or anything. Anything come to mind on that?
I think the big thing for us is we've never been the group to go hire everyone that we need to have 30 locations all at once. And we got to a point where I was overseeing 8 or 9 locations, and I was running around with a fire hose all the time. I was across South Dakota and Nebraska, and the world was on fire, and I'd go put it out in one place and go to the next and the next and the next, and we weren't making any progress. That was a huge adjustment that we made. I brought on 3 people to take over certain regions. And be accountable to me with what they're doing. And, we've added on to our training team. I think it's really hard because I kind of hold on pretty tight. And so it's hard to let go. But I tell you what, you give some people a chance and they'll really surprise you.
Yeah. If you give people what they need to succeed and you've hired to your culture, it'll all come together. That's the important thing. I think, and I was like you too, when I started to scale, it was so hard for me to let go. I finally had a coach in 95 who just said, you're the problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, of course that figures. I think I'm successful in spite of myself. Somehow.
And the thing that I learned by letting go of some control, because I'm the same way,
it's human nature.
I don't want to let it go. I want to control this, but almost 9 or 10 times out of 10, when I've let that go, that person has done a better job than I could even dream of doing.
Means you hire well.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. And they have more energy when you're not running around putting out fires. There's, I'm a big fan of David Goggins and the ultramarathon runner, former Navy SEAL. And he talks about the false summit where, he's running this race up a mountain and he's run it before and he's on the, the first peak and he's getting past and he's laughing to himself knowing that when they get up to the top of that peak and they turn around and there's another summit to climb. And so he's taking his time and they're sprinting to the top. And, I was that guy sprinting to the top. And so, it's like when things are good, how can we make them better? And how can we dig the trenches so the fire doesn't jump versus just going around with that pickaxe and a hose.
Yeah.
So,
and avoiding burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where burnout it's a big thing. I mean, most people don't think about it. I mean,
my gosh.
you think you're close to the summit, like you said, and you just kick it into 4th gear, 5th gear. And next thing you know, you turn the corner and go, oh my gosh, we have 10 more miles to go.
Yeah. And thankfully I have a loving wife who endured very well during that time. But
yeah,
I mean, I was putting 50,000 miles a year on my truck, just chasing it.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, Travis always talks about work-life balance. That's his big thing. He absolutely loves it. He doesn't.
You know what I call it? I call it work-life bogus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Travis as well.
When
He's like, I
You
know,
have now
right? It
become my
is.
spirit
It
animal.
is.
When I write a
Work-life
book one
focus.
day,
That's so true.
that'll be in there.
Write
Because,
that
I mean,
book.
if you just take care of what you need to take care of and you set yourself up for success,
Right.
you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say just if you want balance in life, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be worried about the next thing. I mean, that's huge right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those problems are going to come. Deal with them when they come.
Yeah.
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 I totally agree.
Yeah.
Sorry for those that I just offended.
No, don't
No.
apologize for that. That's spot on, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree.
So, one thing that blew me away when your location on O Street here opened up. I was driving up O Street. You had traffic out onto O Street. I mean, you had people directing traffic, and I thought, wow. Well, not your. I'm sure it wasn't your employees, or maybe it was. I don't know.
Might have been me.
I love it. Yeah.
But that is something that you don't see ever.
No.
And dealing with that, and you must get people through pretty dang quick. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's we've been fortunate to see it with both brands around new store opens, and Seven Brew's done an incredible job with their marketing campaigns, and they do these giveaways on the 7th day of every month, whether it's a duck or a sticker, or it's a buy one get one free. Always it's buy a drink, get a free drink, but then there's always something else. And we actually, it was called Jackpot Hour, and I could have said that wrong, but it was that 1 hour was always so crazy that Seven Brews across the country were getting shut down by the police department because, the
Traffic.
the line was
That's
going
why I
a
was like,
mile every direction. So
Yeah.
we started doing it all day or a longer period throughout the day.
Yeah.
To avoid
different
that.
times. Yeah.
But, we had a great experience. We opened a Freddy's in Rapid City, and we had the most incredible turnout. And so what we do is we just think on the fly of what can we do to make the guest experience the best it could possibly be. So we actually put someone at our new stores. We have tablets. We take orders outside, and and they were able to take credit cards. We put someone outside, and if they ordered custard, we would bring it to their car while they were waiting 5 cars back from the window. And then if their food got done before the person in front of them, we'd bring their food out. And so we were moving cars through, I'd say 2 times faster. But they were we'd take their drinks out to them the second their drinks were done as well. So they were constantly getting a touch point, and they were getting something, and they were zooming out of there, and they were so happy.
And they're not sitting there thinking, did they forget me? They're having to cook hands. Is the rest of my food going to be cold because they're doing that? The other thing you've done is you've created a memorable experience. Yeah. With my mentors, my mentees, I'm always telling them, look, you want to be successful in real estate, be memorable. Well, what do you mean be memorable? Think about being memorable. When were you someplace that you just go, I can't forget about it because it was a great experience. You're sure you're helping somebody find a house or sell their house, but it's the experience that they will remember. So if that's memorable, that's great. Do whatever you have to make that memorable, right? And it makes a big difference. That's memorable.
Yeah.
What you did.
Well, in Seven Brew too, I mean, the nice thing is with no drive-through menu board, you could be the 30th car in line, and we've already taken your order. And so that it's getting, it's coming.
Yeah.
And so, they're going. I mean, I'm very self-conscious of wait times in both brands. And, our expectation is excellence. And so, we fall short, but that is the constant conversation with us.
And how do you keep your employees motivated to that?
I think competition breeds excellence.
Mm-hmm.
We track it. All of my, on the Freddy side, we send out weekly newsletters with a leaderboard of, who's got the highest sales, who's got the best ticket times, who's got the best guest comments. We always pick the best guest comment of the week. Of Julie from Carney said that it was the best burger she'd ever had. And we try and put those metrics in a leaderboard. And then, Seven Brew being in the infant stages, we're working through those things. So they don't have the data resources that we have at Freddy's after 25 years of noodling it. But again, we try and keep it competitive. We try and set a really high standard, and we just push on it constantly.
Yeah.
See, there's a restaurant in I don't think it's a franchise, but there's in Northern Ohio. When we go back to watch games, my son and I, we always go to a place called Swenson's, and there's probably about a dozen of them in the Cleveland area. And these kids, you pull up outside, and they have the menus are painted on the wall. And when you're ready, you just kind of flash your lights. And I kid you not, a kid comes running, literally running out of the building up to your car. Hey, welcome to Swenson's. How can I help you? And they take your order. You can pay then. You can pay after you eat. They don't care. And then, they are booking nonstop.
So cool.
And I'm sitting here going, how in the heck do you do this? Because it seems like you can't even get kids to get out of bed and show up to work at 8 a.m., let alone run.
Yeah.
And I should find out who owns those. And
Well, it's memorable, and you go there every time.
Is.
You start off with,
Every
we
game.
go every time. I mean,
every
that's it.
time.
Repeat business.
Yeah,
so
we should
important.
invest in that. That's
It's interesting. I'd love for you to bring one here. It's great food.
No kidding.
Well, we got one more break coming up, and then our last segment. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's, and soon to be Swenson's. Back for the final segment of the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Alex Carney from 7 Brew and Freddy's. And our last segment here is sponsored by the Berry Law Firm, the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and Wyuka Cemetery. You know, if you're not a member of the Chamber of Commerce and you're a business owner, go join the Chamber of Commerce. It is well worth every penny you pay because you'll get it back in multiples. Great people, good chamber. I've been around some not so good chambers. This one is an excellent chamber, so go check them out. All right, so our last segment here, we just kind of float. We do our little wrap up of the businesses. Now, Freddy's, you have 3 Lincoln locations, right? Four Lincoln locations. Where are they?
48th and Van Dorn, 27th and Cornhusker, 56th and O, and 30th and Yankee Hill.
Okay. The 30th and Yankee is the one I always go to. So, and then 7 Brew. There's one on, is it 56?
Yeah, 56 and O, 25th and O, 56 and Highway 2, soon to be North 27th. And I have 3 more Lincoln projects in the works right now.
Wow. And they're all 7 Brews, the 3. Excellent.
Yep.
Very good. So where do we find you? Is it 7brew.com?
Yeah, 7brew.com, Freddy's.com. You know, if you or someone you know is interested in working in those places, that's a great place to go as well. Or highplainsbrew.com or hp7brew.com is our local page. And yeah, I mean, you're going to get a good dose of the menu and the locations from those sites. And honestly, the social media from both brands is solid. So I would recommend to follow and kind of track what we're up to.
Nice.
Do you ever have employees that go from Freddy's to 7 Brew or vice versa?
So I hope none of my employees are listening. Early on, I told them,
your ears.
I told my Freddy's team that I signed a non-compete and that I couldn't hire any of them at 7 Brew because honestly, it's a pretty sweet place to work.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to lose my whole Freddy's staff going across the street to 7 Brew. And it's like, hey, someone's got to stay here. So, and fortunately on the 7 Brew side, I'm mostly real estate and construction with a little dabble in the ops. So I stay out of the hiring. I help on the high level hiring decisions, but with Freddy's, I'm more hands-on with that stuff. And so I try and separate church and state. So.
Yeah. That's a smart plan because it would be tough. It's just managing people and it's hard enough. But yeah, I was just thinking of it going, man, if you really had somebody who wanted to move up within the company, not necessarily as a worker, so to speak, or a barista, somebody who wants to move up in the organization, that could be an interesting opportunity.
Yeah, and we'll explore that as well. The one thing is our investment groups are a little bit different on the two concepts. So we have to toe the line a little bit with, we kind of share some nucleus, but there is a lot of crossover. There is a little bit, we stray away from the crossover as much as we can. Just kind of, like I said, separate church and state.
Yeah, good plan.
So you have the stores in Nebraska. What other states?
So for Freddy's, we have South Dakota, Eastern Iowa, and we just picked up a development agreement for Indianapolis. There's already stores there, but we're going to do 6 more. So that puts us
in
about
Indianapolis.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep, so,
I try to get there every August.
Really?
Yeah, for DCI competition.
Okay.
Drum and bugle course.
Okay.
They have them at the stadium there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah,
thousands of kids come in there. Oh,
that's
yeah,
a cool
that
stadium.
Is a great
I just went
stadium.
for the first time.
That.
Dr. Pepper took us to the Big Ten championship last year. And that was
that stadium is
an
off the
awesome
charts.
Experience.
Yes,
I have an insane experience about there. I'll tell you about it off the air. But if you've never been to Lucas Oil Stadium, I think it is.
Yep.
If you've never been there, go.
And go to St. Elmo's first.
What's that?
St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
Yep.
Oh.
It is there.
Oh, all the bartenders and on the back of the menu, it tells you how long the staff has been working there. And I ordered a drink before dinner. We sat at the bar. Our bartender had been working there for 35 years. An hour and a half later, he goes, "You want another old fashioned with Knob Creek?"
Wow.
And he'd served 300 people between those 2 times.
Amazing.
And I just gave him a thumbs up and said, absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding.
And those people make so much money, and I don't know how their brain works I mean, half the time I'm doing this radio show. I've known Gary for 30 years, and I look over there and I go, it's Gary, you know what I mean? My brain just doesn't work that way.
Food and beverage people are certified sickos. There's an addiction to it. And it's just the people aspect. It's so much fun.
Have either of you ever eaten at Simpson's in Chicago?
No.
Oh, go if you can sometime. You need to make an appointment. You need to take a lot of money, but it is the best. You're not doing
a good job selling it so far,
because not everybody could go.
Worth
if
every
you're
penny.
there, go. Oh, it is worth every penny. But you have 3 waiters to your table, 2 bussers to your table. We had a table of 8. It was unbelievable. It's memorable, completely memorable. But
you have 5 people
Oprah
dedicated
Winfrey
to your
eats
table.
there. Yes, sir.
Wow.
And the head waiters before tips make $145,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they hiring?
And where do I see? Yeah, so I was going to say, where do I send my resume?
No kidding, right? I know. I was like, but it's talk about memorable in a business. It's just very memorable.
That's incredible.
I mean, yeah, I had to save up to go there, but it was really awesome.
One thing that I've always joked is the name of my autobiography is going to be like Chick-fil-A ruined my life, right? Because you go to Chick-fil-A or you go somewhere else, right? And you sit in line forever and they get the order wrong and it takes forever to get through. And for some reason, Chick-fil-A 7 Brew, they get it done. And you sit there in line and go, why did I come to this restaurant? Because it can be done good. You can have good customer service. You can get people out quickly. Why aren't they doing it over here? And why am I standing in line waiting for it? That's something that it just drives me insane.
Because it's the Lord's chicken.
Well, is it the Lord's Brew then at 7 Brew?
Yes.
Because you guys are doing it.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
Consistency and speed. It is an all hands on deck experience. And trust me when I say we get it wrong a lot. But I know that when it's top of mind for awareness, we crush it. So, talking about people and culture and standard operating procedures and all the things, it has to click and it has to flow. And we're trying to hit a lot of moving targets. And that's what the food and beverage industry is. It's just moving targets constantly.
Yeah.
And so
true.
Just trying to stay on top of that and give an excellent experience is so important to us.
And just bringing it every day.
Yeah.
That's got to be the toughest part, is just keeping people motivated, keeping people, because the customers, they're going to come all the time, but then they get that one bad experience and that's where it starts to erode. That's
coffee
tough to
and
manage.
burgers anywhere.
Yeah.
But we're trying to bring it.
Yeah. And there's a reason that you're successful at it.
Yeah,
So
good job of that.
thanks so much
Thank
for
you, guys.
coming in and chatting with us. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So you're listening to the 402 Business Insider, Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We will see you next week, Saturdays, 10:30 to noon, right here on KLIN.